Okay, guys, it is now 8:10, and as you all know, or some of you may not know me, my name is Delphina Kimbrough, and I am the owner and founder of Just Caring Hands and CNA to CEO. Just Caring Hands is my home health agency that I started about 2 years ago, and it has brought me to CNA to CEO. Um, there I will be, helping people and teaching people how to start their own home health agency. I just kind of want to start with, you know, my introduction, tell everyone, um, how I started um, to become where I am now. Um, some of you may know I'm from Ohio, Alelia, Ohio. I was born and raised there. Um, I kind of started my nursing career in Ohio. I was 15 years old when I got my CNA license, and I've been a CNA ever since then. I did have some other credentials like, medical assisting, dermatology tech, but I kind of want to just focus on CNA to CEO. Um, I grew up kind of like mostly everybody in my area. Alelia is a small town. My mom was on welfare, Section 8. We got food stamps. Um, I didn't have the things that everyone else wanted or had and needed. So I began working at a summer program there is when I got my CNA license. Some of you guys may know about the Job Works program in Lorain County. Um, Excuse me, this is my first actual telecourse, so I am still nervous. I do get nervous. I am human, just like everyone else. Um, So let's see. In 2006, I ended up moving to Maryland. I was still, had the mentality of, you know, after I get kids, I'm going to, do welfare, work a job. My main goal was to have Section 8 so that I could still work and have money to be able to provide for my children. Back then I didn't have kids. I do have two now. They are 3 and 4. And I, excuse me, uh, trying to read off of my notes. So here I started working as a medical assistant. I started out at a pediatric office, which didn't work out for me. Um, Eventually, I got fired from that job. Um, and then I got another job at a rheumatology office, which I was there about 2 years. Again, I wanted something better. I was only making $10 an hour as a medical assistant, working part-time. Then I had, me and my husband, we had bills to pay, so we was, kind of working. I was working, just trying to make ends meet. And there at the medical assistant office, I actually got my first private client. So I was very excited. I was making about $14 an hour. So, I thought that was big money. I didn't work for anyone, and I felt like, I was on top of the world. And then that client fell off. So then it was back to working the 9 to 5 job. Um, I started working at a dermatology center, and there, the surgeons there, I mean, they were actually, no, it was great. I loved my job. I loved doing what I was doing. But then again, I got fired from that job. So it kind of was like a pattern. It was like I couldn't keep a job being that I was one of the best workers that they had. And I think that the reason being was that, for one, I was a black woman, um, and color is not an issue, but some people are intimidated by those who speak their mind um, and want to be heard. And I felt like me working these jobs and me being the person that I am, and I'm always A1 on top of my game. I felt as if I should be more than just an employee. So eventually I had children. My situation got rough to where, like I said, I had already been in Maryland. Let's see, I had already been in Maryland about 4 years. We were living in a one-bedroom apartment. I wasn't working. I don't know how we were paying bills. I was doing hair on the side. And then eventually, the time came to where I wasn't able to provide for my children. Then I had, my kids are 11 months apart. I had one child and then the next one. Um, you know, Times got hard. My lights were going to get cut off. I was about to get evicted from my home. So I ended up having to move back to Ohio to live with my mother. And I was there about 8 months and I couldn't take it. There was no job opportunities. Uh, you know, Nobody was growing. I still had the mentality that I wanted to hang out and go to the bars and things like that. And being, a mom, sometimes the light bulb comes on that you just want more than that for your children. So I did come back to Maryland, and we didn't have any place to stay. We had to stay with my mother-in-law, and then eventually we found an apartment, and then reality kicked in. We had been doing this research about starting a home health agency since 2011, and we just, decided to go ahead and go forward with that. And, being, no confidence, no business structure, not having no money, it just felt like, we weren't able to do it. So, let's see, I kind of put myself out there to where, I just said, hey, I'm going to find me a client. Well, I did. I was looking at an agency in Maryland, and one of the clients that I had worked for them, I had worked for the client probably about 6 months, and I was one of the best caregivers that they had. So eventually, the family contacted me. They found out after I came back to Maryland, and they had wanted me to come work for them. Well, the boss of my old job had found out that I was working for the family, and he decided that he wanted to charge us an assignment fee of $4,000 a piece, which was, a total of $8,000. And the family was going to pay the whole amount, but I was just like, come on, it's, in 3 months, my year will be up that I have not been working for this company. Let's just go ahead and wait, and that's what we did. So eventually, I did go back to work for the family, and that's how I got started with Just Caring Hands. So Just Caring Hands took a little bit of, like I said, research, things that kind of like if you receive our emails, you'll kind of see like we were sending out our weekly emails in the order of starting your own home health agency. I just want to pause for a second just to make sure everyone can hear me. Can everyone hear me? Okay, well, Lisa says she can hear me. Carrie. How about you, Natalie? Are you still on the call? Okay, great. Okay. So just getting started with how Just Caring Hands started. Like I said, I got my first client, and I always suggest that once you get the mindset going of you want to start your own business, I think you should just go ahead and jump right out there and do what you have to do. Me being a CNA for 18 years, that was pretty much what got me in the door. Every time I spoke with someone, it was, hey, I'm a CNA. I think I am the best caregiver that there is, and I feel like, the family will benefit from me being here. So I always recommend that if you are a CNA and you are trying to start your own business, don't try to jump out there and start hiring people, getting all this overhead, and then, so that way you'll lose money. Work your first client. I worked 2 clients, and I still had a job. I worked 47 hours a week at the client that I had started with. Then I worked about 36 hours a week at another client, and I worked an overnight shift. Then I was still in the mentality of employee. I was scared to let go of my job. It was like if I didn't have a job, it was like I wasn't going to have any money.